All right, so before we kick off with our energizer, which will be led by Maria today, we're just going to quickly go over some of the norms and brave space agreements that we have, because we are going to be having a discussion over protest today, so we want to make sure that everybody feels comfortable kind of talking and engaging in these kinds of conversations. So Maria, if you want to go to the, I don't know if it's the next slide or not. Oh, okay. So really quick, some virtual norms. If you haven't already, which I have not, so I'm going to do it while I'm saying it. Go ahead and rename yourself with your name and then your pronouns. Okay. And then as usual, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to raise your hand and you will be called on. And also don't be afraid to use the chat and any of the reaction buttons you have to uplift or react to anything anybody's saying. Okay, so really quick, we wanted to kind of go over the difference between what a safe space is and a brave space is. So just to kind of read the definitions that are on the slide right now. A safe space is ideally one that doesn't incite judgment based on identity or experience, where the expression of both can exist and be affirmed without fear of repercussion and without the pressure to educate. While learning may occur in these spaces, the ultimate goal is to provide support. Safe spaces are good, but ideally what we want to promote in GlobeMed are brave spaces, which are spaces that encourage dialogue, they recognize differences, and hold each person accountable to do the work of sharing experiences and coming to new understandings, a feat that is often hard and typically uncomfortable. So a lot of the conversations we might have today or even in future ghUs with partnerships and internal, we might have some of those really uncomfortable conversations, but it's important that we all feel that we can kind of speak our mind and be brave in those situations. And then really quick, Maria, if you wanted to pull up, we do have a document that we started last semester for some of our community norms surrounding our ghUs and the things we like to practice when we're having these discussions. So we can run through those really quick. And then if anybody has anything they would like to add, or if they have questions about anything that's part of our community norms for this year, you're more than welcome to ask. So I'll just read through these really quick. Our first one is permission to be raggedy. This just kind of means that there's no pressure to sound perfectly eloquent. Your thoughts are valid and encouraged. So if you kind of like stumble through what you're saying, that's totally okay. You have permission to be raggedy. Keep your camera on as much as possible. Obviously, it's kind of hard to get to know each other if we can't see your faces, but if you can't have your camera on, that is okay. Try to keep your mic muted while others are talking, and please raise your hand if you would like to say something, just so we're not talking over each other and everybody's thoughts and voices can be heard. Switch from active speaker view to grid view so that you can see everyone's beautiful faces. This is a little bit harder when we have a presentation going, but if we're not in presentation mode, try to stay in that grid view so we can kind of see everybody. Normalize reactions in chat messages, so amplify each other's voices. If you want to uplift something somebody else said, feel free to use the chat or those reactions. If you need to step away, please close your video and microphone and join when you're ready again. And we benefit most when everyone contributes, so please engage in the discussions that take place in your breakout rooms. That's why we have the breakout rooms, because we know you're usually more comfortable to speak in those smaller groups. So don't be afraid to ask questions and engage in those conversations, because this is a space for all of us to learn. Do not force emotional labor. So be mindful of how much you are asking someone to share about themselves and their trauma. Addressing ignorance and misinformation by calling it in, inviting folks to elaborate and share if you feel comfortable doing so. Don't be a bystander. If you are uncomfortable or notice someone in distress or harm, speak up, call people out if necessary. And then step up, step back. So this just kind of means knowing when to invite people back into the conversation and when you need to take a step back from the conversation to let those voices in. Okay. Does anybody have any questions, thoughts, anything they would like to see added to this document? I don't see any hands raised, so I'm going to take that as a good to go sign. This is something we will keep implementing with any ghU that we do. So if at any point you feel like something needs to be added to the document or talked about, we can definitely do that. But I think we're gonna go ahead and move on with our energizer for the day. So Maria, take it
Thank
away.
you, Shaylin. All right, it's time for a little bit of chaotic energy here. We misspelled the word addition, so +1 to me. But what we're gonna do for our energizer today is an ultimate Super Bowl commercial. And pretty much how this is gonna go is that we're gonna break you up into teams of like 3 or 4, and in your breakout room, just brainstorm like a slogan or some type of commercial that you think would be the best commercial in a Super Bowl for any product that you have in your house, anything that's around you. So whatever you decide, somebody in your breakout room gets to pick the product, or you guys could all come up with it together. But when we come back and share back, you'll have the opportunity to kind of share your slogan or your commercial pitch, and then we will figure out and see who the best one was, and that person will be the winner. All right. Does that make sense to everyone? Anybody have questions? Cool. All right. So we will send you to your breakout rooms.
All right, good luck.